जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजन यशो। यमुना तीरावनचारि यमुना तीरावनचारि यमुना तीरावनचारि यमुना तीरा। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। कुंज बिहारी। जय ओम विश्वपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र श्री श्रीमद् अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शील प्रभुपाद की जय। इस्कॉन बीपीटी फाउंडर आचार्य शील प्रभुपाद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। ऑल ग्लोरी टू द असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज। ऑल ग्लोरी टू द असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज। ऑल ग्लोरी टू द असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज। All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagvatam, Canto 10, Chapter 3, verses 6 to 8. Jagu Kinnara Gandharvas Tushtuvu Siddhacharana Vidyadharascha Nanrutur Apsaro bhi samam mudha. Jagu kinnara gandharvas tushtuvu siddhacharana vidyadharascha nanrutur Apsaro bhi samam mudha. Jagu kinnara gandharva tushtuvu siddhacharana vidyadharascha namrutur Apsaro bhi samam mudha. Jagu kinnara gandharvas tushtuvu siddhacharana vidyadharascha nanrutur apsaro bhi samam mudha. The kinnaras and gandharvas began to sing auspicious songs. The siddhas and charanas offered auspicious prayers, and the vidyadharis along with the apsaras began to dance in jubilation. Mumuchur munayo deva sumam namshi mudanvita mandam mandam jaladhara Jagurjur Anusagaram Nishite Tama Udbhute Jayamane Janardane Devakyam Devarupinyam Vishnu Sarva Guhashaya Avirashid Yatha Prachyam Dishindhur Eva Pushkala. The demigods and great saintly persons showered flowers in a joyous mood, and clouds gathered in the sky and very mildly thundered, making sounds like those of the ocean's waves. Then the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu, who is situated in the core of everyone's heart, appeared from the heart of Devaki in the dense darkness of light, like the full moon rising on the eastern horizon, because Devaki was of the same category as Shri Krishna. Purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charana Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. As stated in the Brahma Samhita 5:37, Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavi Tabhis Tabhirya Eva Nijarupataya Kalabhi Golokeva Nivasataye Akila Mubhuto Govindamadi Purusham Tamam Bhajami. This verse indicates that Krishna and his entourage are of the same spiritual potency, Ananda Chinmaya Rasa. Krishna's father, his mother, his friends, the cowherd boys, and the cows are all expansions of Krishna, as will be explained in the Brahma Vimohan Leela. When Brahma took away Krishna's associates to test the supremacy of Lord Krishna, the Lord expanded himself again in the forms of the many cowherd boys and calves, all of whom, as Brahma saw, were Vishnu Murtis. Devaki is also an expansion of Krishna, and therefore this verse says, Devakyam Devarupinyam Vishnu Sarva Guhyashaya. At the time of the Lord's appearance, the great sages and demigods, being pleased, began to shower flowers. At the seashore, there was the sound of mild waves, and above the sea, there were clouds in the sky which began to thunder very pleasingly. When things were adjusted like this, Lord Vishnu, who is residing within the heart of every living entity, appeared in the darkness of night as the Supreme Personality of Godhead before Devaki, who appeared as one of the demigoddesses. The appearance of Lord Vishnu at the time could be compared to the rising of the full moon in the sky on the eastern horizon. The objection may be raised that since Lord Krishna appeared on the 8th day of the waning moon, there could be no rising of the full moon. In answer to this, it may be said that the Lord Krishna appeared in the dynasty, which is in the hierarchy of the moon. Therefore, although the moon was incomplete on that night, because of the Lord's appearance in the dynasty, wherein the moon is himself the original person, the moon was in an overjoyous condition. So by the grace of Krishna, he could appear as a full moon. To welcome the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the waning moon became a full moon in jubilation. Instead of Deva Rupinyam, some texts of Srimad Bhagvatam clearly say Vishnu Rupinyam. In either case, the meaning is that Devaki has the same spiritual form as the Lord. The Lord is Satchidananda Vigraha, and Devaki is also Satchidananda Vigraha. Therefore, no one can find any fault in the way the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Satchidananda Vigraha, appeared from the womb of Devaki. Those who are not in full knowledge that the appearance and disappearance of the Lord are transcendental, Janma Karma Chame Divyam, are sometimes surprised that the Supreme Personality of Godhead can take birth like an ordinary child. Actually, however, the Lord's birth is never ordinary. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is already situated within the core of everyone's heart as Antaryami, the super soul. Thus, because he was present in full potency in Devaki's heart, he was able to appear outside her body. One of the 12 great personalities is Bhishma Dev, Swayambhur Narada, Shambhu Kumara, Kapilo Manu, Prahlada Janako Bhishma. In Srimad Bhagvatam 1.9.42, Bhishma, a great authority to be followed by devotees, says that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is situated in the core of everyone's heart. Just as the sun may be on everyone's head, yet although the sun may be on the heads of millions and millions of people, this does not mean that the sun is variously situated. Similarly, because the Supreme Personality of Godhead has inconceivable potencies, he can be within everyone's heart and yet not be situated variously. Ekatvam anupashyata, Ishopanishad 7. The Lord is one, but he can appear in everyone's heart by his inconceivable potency. Thus, although the Lord was within the heart of Devaki, he appeared as her child. All according to Vishnu Puran, therefore, as quoted in the Vaishnav Toshani, the Lord appeared like the sun. Anugrahashaya. The Brahma Samhita 535 confirms that the Lord is situated within even the atom. Andantara sta paramanu chayantara stham. He is situated in Mathura, in Vaikunta, and in the core of the heart. Therefore, one should clearly understand that he did not live like an ordinary child in the heart or the womb of Devaki, nor did he appear like an ordinary human child, although he seemed to do so in order to bewilder asuras like Kamsa. The asuras wrongly think that Krishna took birth like an ordinary child and passed away from this world like an ordinary man. Such asuric conceptions are rejected by persons in knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ajopi san avyayatma bhutanam ishwaropi san. Bhagavad Gita 4.6. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord is Aja, unborn, and he is the supreme controller of everything. Nonetheless, he appeared as the child of Devaki. This verse describes the inconceivable potency of the Lord, who appeared like the full moon. Understanding the special significance of the appearance of the Supreme Godhead, one should never regard him as having taken birth like an ordinary child. Om Ajnanatimirantasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukham karoti vachalam pangul langayati girim yat kripataham vande Shri Guru Dinatarin vancha kalpaturasya kripa sindhuveja patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Like the full moon rising on the eastern horizon, because Devaki was of the same category as Shri Krishna. So in this verse today, we are looking at the birth of the Lord himself, and he's appearing in the moon dynasty. Yes, the moon dynasty, and Prabhupada is mentioning that it is Janmashtami, right? It is Ashtami, it is not Purnima. So the moon is not full. And then how is that that it is saying that the moon rises in the eastern horizon. And Prabhupada is mentioning that because the moon is so overjoyous with so much love for the Lord, he couldn't resist himself to actually appear fully, overbrimming with joy. And that's why, similarly, yes, when we come across Janmashtami, when we have festivals in the temple, it is the same pastime of the Lord. Yes, like Prabhupada is mentioning, the sun is on so many heads, but at the same time he is not, present over there personally. But that is our consciousness also. If we think that the Lord is appearing on the same night as Janmashtami, or even every single day Janmashtami in the spiritual world, but especially on Janmashtami, then we can actually understand and experience the joy of all the residents of the heavenly planets and the residents of Vrindavan also. That how the Supreme Personality of Godhead is so compassionate, who comes janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvata tvakta deham punarjanma neti mameti so arjuna. It is an act of compassion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead on the living entities. To appear in this world, he can actually, he doesn't need to come here because he's totally independent. But still, he comes. Why? To give us the opportunity to interact with him, to understand his glories, and to actually go back home, back to Godhead, in eternal service unto his lotus feet. He comes to attract the living entities which we have forgotten about. Why? Because he's the most beautiful. He's the most beautiful. He's the most attractive person. And that is the first feature of the Lord, beauty. Yes, the attractive force. And that's why when we come to the temple, when we come to these occasions, yes, mat chitta, mat gata pran, bodhayanta parasparam, kathayanta shamam nityam tushyanti charamanti cha. Yes, mat chitta, mat gata prana, bodhayanta parasparam. Because he's so attractive, his features, his pastime, janma karma cha me divyam, is so divyam that when we talk about them, an actual devotee, not even advanced, because when he starts loving something, we were talking that day, when we love something about someone, the mother loves her child so dearly, that even though the child is passing stool and urine on the mother itself, she is not affected. She's not affected. She's blissful. Yeah, even that act of dirt, by the child, which is the most abominable thing. Not abominable, most dirtiest thing. You cannot actually, why would you have diapers, near your face? No, you won't. But the mother loves everything about the child. By Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochani. And that's why we always compare the mother's love for her child, yes, to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And even Radharam Maharaj was explaining that how is it possible that all the saints are lying to us? That every single saint in the whole world would be considered an ignorant person to accept that there is a Supreme Personality. There is supreme compassion. All the saints show the same compassion as a mother shows to her child. How is that possible? How is that possible? Why? Because all these people who are in the category of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, like Devaki herself, yes, Ananda Chinmaya Rasa. Yeah, I didn't know that, maybe we should read Brahma Samhita also. That Ananda Chinmaya Rasa means that they are in the same category of the Lord. Yes, they are in the same category of the Lord. So actually, Devaki is not materially tinged. She is spiritually potent. She is having a spiritual, everything about her is spiritual. Why? She's immersed in the thought of Krishna. absorbed in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Samadhi. And similarly, everyone in the category of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is immersed. It's like iron in fire. You put the iron outside fire, it doesn't behave like fire. But when it is in touch with the fire, soon, very soon, it becomes fire, red hot. And it can perform all the functions of fire. Till the time it is in fire. And hence, why do we have all these events? Why do we have these festivals? It's because both the eternal residents and the residents which are trying to be eternal residents, they both are over there. Yes, everything is going on simultaneously. And that's why every Sunday feast, every festival which we have in the temple is actually a pastime of the Lord. Yes. Why? Because the Lord is present, the devotees are present. Now, the thought is ours, the intention is ours, the desire is ours to participate or not. Yes. We might participate in talking something else. Yes, or we might participate in actually glorifying the Lord. Then, because with that intention we want to please the Lord, then we have Tushyanticha Ramanticha. We can actually experience the bliss. Yes, Radhanath Maharaj was explaining, I was in one of the lectures, Braj Bihari Prabhu was mentioning, that he was mentioning to the brahmacharis and to the devotees in general, that I want you to not know Krishna only, theoretically. It's not knowing Krishna theoretically that makes you an advanced devotee. Or, anything else like playing perfectly, doing puja perfectly, doing this service perfectly, that makes one eligible to actually know Krishna. No. Maharaj was saying that I don't want you to just know Krishna. I want you to experience it. And that's why that is my job, for you to experience Krishna. Why? Because there is compassion in these great souls, like Srila Prabhupada himself. And that's why they all are in the category of Krishna, iron in fire. Yes. Till the time that person is in Krishna consciousness, he is in fire. Yes. And that's why this whole bogus theories of Ritvikism and all these other theories of Mayavad, they do not hold true at all. Why? Because you want a pure devotee eternally. Yes. How are you judging that? With your little tiny brain? Because now you are qualified, because you have graduated from some great institute, and now you have the qualification to judge a pure devotee, because you have become a pure devotee just by following the rules and regulations. No. Maharaj was explaining today, I was listening while coming, I had remained 2 minutes were remaining of a class. And he was mentioning that once a devotee went to Prabhupada and he actually got to learn Sanskrit from Prabhupada, and he was helping Prabhupada with his books. And this is in Vrindavan. And then this devotee actually comes to Prabhupada and he started reading some other scriptures in Sanskrit. Like in general, devotees feel like doing it, right? Because everybody becomes a great scholar. Yeah, because yes, obviously, I need to read because I've read all the books of Prabhupada. Now I need to go out and read the Puranas by myself because I have learned Sanskrit. And then they bring up something from Jiva Goswami, and then they bring up something from Rupa Goswami, which contradicts apparently, which is not there actually. But they think that it is contradicting. And then they spread it into the community. And then there is all faithlessness. Because why? Everybody is a neophyte, and obviously everybody is going to have less faith. And that person who brings it into the community is creating havoc, with the faith of the people. And then they lose faith in Srila Prabhupada. And they think that, because Prabhu, you don't know, we've read so much. Oh, why did you read so much? Who told you to read so much? Was it a seva to read so much? No, because we want to know the inner depths of Radha and Krishna pastimes. Or something else. Yeah, curiosity. Haldar Maharaj is very bold on this. That, we think that we are greater than our spiritual masters. Because, how do they know? They don't know Sanskrit. Now I know something better. So Maharaj was explaining this point, that he learned Sanskrit and he was reading something else. And he went to actually Srila Prabhupada. And he said, Prabhupada, please bless me. Can you give me blessings to find a bona fide spiritual master? To find a bona fide spiritual master. And Prabhupada looks at him and says, may you go to hell. You may never find a bona fide spiritual master. And how is that compassion? It is compassion actually. Because that attitude is never going to lead us anywhere except for hell. And then somebody might say, why would you curse? It's not cursing, it's actually giving you what you want. That is the desire of the living entity. Some people say that why you devotees are sometimes very strong, especially me, And then it's like, you being in the material world is not something so great either. You're already in hell. We are destined to be in hell. So little here and there won't make any difference, It doesn't make sense. If it was in the spiritual world, maybe then there we can say, you should not speak like that or should not do like that. But Maharaj was explaining that Prabhupada said, you may go to hell, I bless you to go to hell. And Maharaj emphasized it too many times. And he was mentioning that, that one might be a great scholar, or one might be doing great puja, one might be a great manager, one might be a great kirtanier than the spiritual master. But because the spiritual master knows Krishna, one should never think that he is greater than him. It's easy to say, and that's why familiarity breeds contempt. When we are near such great souls, and we see that, he missed a beat. See, he did this thing. He should have done this thing. Why didn't he look at me? If I was in his position, I would have looked at every single person. I would have given time to my disciples. Why? Because the intention is to become Guru, not to serve the Guru. Everybody has it. Every single person has it. Why am I saying it? It is with experience. Everyone has it. Why? Because Maharaj was mentioning, till the time we are pure devotees, these things are going to be there. And that's why when there is love, love for the spiritual master, love for the movement, love for Srila Prabhupada, then one might be very safe not to go against, them. Why? Now we are not dealing with tattva anymore. Now it is rasa also. That with tattva and rasa, both, with philosophy and with religion, there is love, and that familiarity breeds only more and more devotional ecstasies. Yes, Radha Gopinath Prabhu was mentioning this. Because naturally there is love. Like Ishwara Puri, serving Madhavendra Puri. Why? With love and care for his spiritual master. Even though he was seeing how pitiful situation externally it was, that he was crying out so desperately for the Lord. That Ramachandra Puri, he said that you focus on Brahman, Para-Brahman, there is always peace. And then Madhavendra Puri actually said that, you get out from my face. He displeased his spiritual master. And Ishwara Puri on the other hand, he was chanting the glories of Krishna for the pleasure of his spiritual master. Yes. And Maharaj was mentioning that without serving Guru, you cannot get Krishna. Yes, it is not possible. The only intention of a good disciple is to serve the spiritual master till his fullest. We try, but I was talking with Devansh Prabhu, we were discussing something. The thing is that it's not because you're doing it perfect that the Lord is happy. Yes? Because why? The intention is so pure. The intention is that anyabhilashita shunyam. That I don't want anything, but I want to serve the spiritual master, serve the gurus in such a way that Srila Prabhupada and Krishna would be so happy. That they will be so happy. And that's my intention. That should be my intention. But because obviously we have conditioning, so it comes in between. And that's why then we will be able to experience Janmashtami. Then we'll be so excited, so happy, not only for the 12 o'clock Aarti, but for the whole day. The excitement builds up the whole time that yes, now only these many hours left for the Lord to appear. And what should I do, what should I not do, so that the Lord would be happy to see everybody at 12 o'clock. That is the excitement that a good devotee would have, Not just because it's a ritual, I have to be there for Mangalarti. People are going to see if I'm there or not, what will happen, And then we are focused on mode of goodness and passion, It's passion mostly. Because nobody cares who was there or not. But the Lord cares whether we were there or not. Yes? Prabhupada cares. So, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.